It looks like I had to reset the stream. I'm just letting the people who are in the Twitch audience who might not be in the Discord know, or might have Discord muted. I'm just going to reiterate what I just said because I need this to record on the video. What we're doing today is going to be a storyboarding exercise where we reverse engineer these 2D animated game trailers and try to find story beats to draw to and keep it rough and loose, and add ground planes and stuff and try to practice some good figure drawing. You can even screenshot. I would even suggest screenshotting these segments so you can copy them in your drawing program to draw over and so on, or just copy them straight up. Anyway, so that's some context to what we're doing. I'm going to show.
I want to boost your audio on Twitch through OBS.
Yeah, probably. It sounds better when I'm sitting in front of it, but I think I do have to adjust the audio levels a bit. Seems pretty good from here, right? I just maybe have to speak up a bit like this, kinda, or something. I don't know.
Okay, I see what's happening. Don't mind me. It's my SteelSeries headset has a weird mixer function on it, and it wasn't set right.
Oh, cause so it was your end. Oh, thank goodness. All right, not another technical hitch I don't have to worry about. All right, so I mean, like a kind of a loose guideline for how you should be drawing when we're doing these is something like this, kind of. This is a theatrical storyboard, but the rough looseness right here, it's not as tight as like a TV board would be, but that's okay for the purposes of this. Like, you can keep things very, very loose and simplistic. This is actually like even more worked out than we would be going, but you want to just keep like things in big, simple shapes and masses that are recognizable. They're just like recognizable enough as the character or kind of what's happening. But yeah, if you need a point of reference for this, this was an Overwatch animatic. I'll link that in the Discord actually, so you can refer back to it when we're doing these. So now the question is, should we do the Heroes of the Storm trailer first, or the Overwatch trailer?
Overwatch one look cool.
Yeah, let's do it first. We're gonna do both, and there's also some League of Legends stuff we'll probably do too, and somebody mentioned Battle Chasers, so we might take a look at that as well. But it's mainly going to be focused on game trailers, like these. So let's pick a part somewhere in this to start this with. Something that's not too hard. I think there's something over here with Winston that might work really well. Winston reacting to things in this would be good, like that. Characters kind of like turning their head and stuff might be good because you just draw 2 panels. Maybe use the same background if you're working digitally. This I would actually use 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. I would actually use all 4 of those, even though that is animation. I would use those as a storyboarding exercise. Because sometimes in like really elaborate storyboards, you'll see kind of basically like rough key poses, kind of like that.
Just quick note, I think Rhythmbot's still going.
I muted him, so he won't show up on.
I can hear him through my headphones right now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, mute if Rhythmbot is bothering you. Mute Rhythmbot. I have him muted, so I can't hear him on stream, so I won't get I won't get hit by the monetization fairies. Let's see, this moment here. This is way more elaborate. I'm gonna look for a very simple moment that we can use. Or actually, maybe not simple moment. Maybe I should start with Winston's change of emotion here. That might be a good one to do, because changes of emotion are big storytelling things. So maybe we should just like start, or we can do this. I think there's a head turn here or something. No, nothing. It's just an eyebrow. Alright, so this is a pivotal story moment here. Winston reacting to seeing Tracer's control device that Winston made for her ripped off her chest, and then her powers going haywire. So I'm gonna make a new layer on my file. Throw the old folder stuff I did. Oh shit. Don't tell me I fucked up my black borders. Did I fuck up my black borders? No, wait, I did not. There it is. Okay. Alright, so you can start now on this panel. I'm just setting up my folders right now so I can do it too. And we'll just kind of play it by ear and move it along. I would suggest screenshotting this so you can refer back to it and study it if we move too quickly for you. I'm going to be going through it at the pace that I'm able to work on these, so just keep that in mind. I just need to set things up so I can actually see the panel myself and maybe print screen it or something. Actually, I think this would be the best way to do it. I'll use a screenshotting tool that I have. No, that's not going to work very well. I'll just try to freehand it. Just to start. So first things first, I should probably establish a ground plane in the background right there. Fuck it. Give me a second. I'm going to plug my other keyboard in because this one doesn't have a print screen button, and then I can follow along. But yeah, just get started drawing this. You want to include a perspective grid for the backdrop, just like enough of it to like tell where the camera is and stuff. You can kind of use some of the buildings as a guideline to find about where the horizon line is. And then try to get like a rough drawing of like the mass of Winston and his expression. Alright, so this is going to work, but I immediately found out that the aspect ratio on this is different than I had it. So I'm going to have to find the aspect ratio on this so I can get the compositions right. Let's see, I have to adjust that now. I think they're using like a theatrical aspect ratio that's a bit different than 16:9. Does anyone know how the transform tool works in Clip Studio? Because like when I resize it like this, it goes uniform like that.
There's a inside the tool options palette on the left-hand side, you'll see little options to change from scale and rotate to free transform.
Yeah, but when I do free transform, it like slides and skews like this, and I don't want that.
You might need to select specifically to just scale.
Yeah, I tried that. It didn't work.
So, when you have transform on, one of the options is basically keep aspect ratio. Make sure that's not checked off. That might be what's causing it.
What is it?
When you're transforming something.
Oh, okay. 1 second here. So under the would it be under the subtools or something?
It would. Basically, like it's under transformation settings.
Yeah, if you go to the tool properties menu, there's a checkbox that says keep aspect ratio.
Which one is the tool properties menu? Like over here.
It should be all the way on the left-hand side. I mean, you might need to go to Window and click Open Tool Properties window.
Do you know which tab?
I mean, I have mine on default, so mine's just there by default. But let me look around for you.
Yeah. Under Window, Tool Property.
Oh, okay.
You can, if you click that, it should show up then.
Oops.
Yeah, under Window, Tool Property.
Oh, it is over here, but... Oops.
Yep. And then when you're transforming something, one of the things that should pop up is keep aspect ratio option.
Object to move.
There's more inside that box, it's just squished.
Yeah, it's squished, so you'll want to scroll down the box.
There we go. Maybe I had to select this. So ask. Oops. Tool property menu.
You have to be already like transforming the thing, basically.
Like that?
Yeah, like that. Keep aspect ratio should be there. I think it's right there.
Yeah, I can see it on mine.
There we go. Alright, thank God. Get rid of that. Now, can you hold shift to like do the aspect ratio thing, like in Photoshop? Yeah, you can. Okay. Alright, cool. Well, I got that taken care of now. It's like I'm still learning the ins and outs of this of Clip Studio. So I don't necessarily need it to be perfect, but I just need it to be in the ballpark here for my aspect ratio. So let's get this little field guide.
Another thing that's quicker, if you want the aspect ratio to be the full thing, if you have a good like thing of it, is to you can like do a selection from the layer of the copied image, and then just like crop it and then resize it from there.
That's true, but I mean I can just do this right now. So I'll do that. Maybe I'll keep this red or some other color, because then I will know the difference between this and the things I'm going to be copy pasting into here. Let's make a duplicate of that and make that one black. I can turn that on and off. Alright, so I'm going to lock that. Alright, now reduce transparency. Now I can get to actually drawing. How about that? Alright, so make the background blue. Or no, I should make it black. That's on the wrong layer. So eye level, I'm thinking would probably. I think the eye level is supposed to be somewhere around his mouth. That's my guess. I'll just rough that in, kind of. Vanishing point is probably around his mouth. It's hard to tell. I'll just kind of guesstimate. Introduce transparency on that, and now do draw Winston. Let's maybe use this actually. So I'm just thinking about the big shapes. The other thing about this is if you're doing it in a digital drawing program, you can just reuse the backgrounds when we move from shot to shot too. This is an excuse to also practice some drawing, some learning better drawing through observation too. But I'm going to try to go through these quickly because I kind of want to think with the mindset of a storyboard artist. So we're going to go to the next one pretty soon. We've been on this one for a while, so let's see if I can frame by frame like now. Oops. Alright, so the next beat would probably be like this. And then the next beat would be like when he comes down in anger. Next beat would be like that. Next beat would be this. Maybe a settle for the final beat. Yeah, so we have like about 5 or 6 more drawings to do, I'd say. Let's blow through these. So he shrinks a bit when he goes back, so keep that in mind. So there's more of the background visible, but you can just keep use like this simple background. All you need to know is all you need is like something that can indicate where the sky plane and the ground plane is, kind of. I'm actually going to add that to mine a bit, so I know about where the sky plane is a little bit. Get rid of that. I'll probably make a layer behind Winston, and then let's see here, throw a solid color behind him, like gray, solid gray, just to make him read. Part of the reason I want people to do this is because, like, I want people to kind of figure out ways to kind of quickly do these when they're working on their own storyboard projects. It's like reverse engineering storyboarding stuff to make reverse engineering simple drawing tools for when you have an idea and you're going to bust out an idea quickly and have it be understood. Like your storyboard should look kind of like what you're doing with these copy studies, basically, as you develop them. So yeah, we're using this one. Are people okay with the YouTube video being this size on the stream?
Yeah, it looks fine.
Alright.
That's probably good. I think it'd be nice if the drawing was a bit larger.
My drawing?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think if we got like balanced out like a little more, not entirely, because like the video is obviously important to reference from, but like
maybe like this. Is that a little better? Something like this, because I'm going to be keeping it around the same area of size, as long as it's more visible. Might work.
Yeah, that looks good to me.
Yeah,
Maybe put it up here, because yeah, I think that works a little. Then I'm going to adjust the text box up here, maybe. There we go. Alrighty, I think that'll work. Yeah, I'm gonna need feedback on whatever works better for my overlay for these. Let's see here. Let's make a folder for panel 1. So it's a little bright, but I need it to figure this out. We're gonna keep at this until maybe, I want to say 6:30 or 6 o'clock, somewhere around there.
Sounds good.
There's my creator dashboard. That's cool. Alright, so this is my first week really trying to do like this Twitch thing. I decided on Twitch because if people have like Prime subs or whatever, they can toss me a few bucks basically. And also it's less of a pain in the ass, so like when I'm trying to do a large class, juggling between streaming on Discord and here. So let's see here. Right. Lower the aspect ratio. I can resize the backdrop from a previous one, but I'm just going to draw Winston for now. My rattly fan annoying, by the way?
I can barely notice it.
Okay. Just want to know if my mic's picking it up, if it's really irritating or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine.
It's kind of fun how with Winston they basically figured out how to put the personality of a Warcraft orc into the Overwatch universe. Torbjorn, of course, being the dwarf, obviously. Yeah, I'm just going to draw the background in, some more practice. Play with it looser, maybe. Alright, I think I'm about ready for the next one. Let's try to speed this up, so now that I got the technical things sorted out. So maybe, I think this is crucial because he's taking off his glasses here. See? I mean, he reaches for his glasses. So we'll use this. be too exact for the aspect ratio. As long as you get the action down. At least for these. So maybe include an arrow or indication here. Let's see here. Oops. So he's got his glasses, and that's an important story item, so I'm going to make sure I emphasize that a little bit. Get some quick drawings over his hands reaching into frame here. So this is one part art copy art draw over, copy study, one part storyboard practice. Combining our studies together, basically. We might even dip into doing a color study from something from these as well. What I'm looking for out of this class session is to get people into kind of a flow state doing these, where you can maybe start feeling comfortable about eyeballing them instead of drawing over it, after you kind of feel that you digested the shape language of the basic characters.
That's what I'm trying to do right now, is this eyeball.
Yeah. Whenever
How
I
we
do,
did it in Storyboard.
whenever I do any kind of thumbnails, I always do pen and paper, and do like tiny boxes instead of like digitally. Only because like sometimes I go a little get carried away when I go in my art program.
Yeah.
And I'll be tempted to like do Control Z constantly, or like the right brush and that kind of stuff.
At Cartoon Network, they actually they use the post-it note method, where they will draw on little post-it notes before they scan them into like Storyboard Pro or whatever.
Yeah,
because it forces them to work really small without having to without getting too fancy with the drawing.
Yeah, there's actually a way you can even do that still in like Storyboard Pro, where you go into like the thumbnail view with the program and just make sure the setting, I think, where it's like allow drawing and thumbnail, and essentially you can still get that kind of same post-it note feel if you really want to draw digitally by doing it that way.
So I'm putting little arrow indicators on Winston to indicate his glasses being pulled off here. And another thing that you might do is you might color code him for how he's getting madder on the storyboard. I'm thinking like we want him with his, like, this is a different action, that's a different action. I'd maybe like we want him here and then we want him here. Yeah. So we want something that that would play back in an animatic. That makes sense. Wow, that Twitch delay. It's wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is a good time to make the mistake of drawing on the wrong layer. Somebody said in chat, in Twitch chat, they were drawing on the wrong layer. In cinematography, we also indicated the camera movement with arrows. Yeah, we're going to be getting to that, actually. There's a few camera move moments in this that I actually want to maybe use to plot out a camera move on a page. So we'll probably be doing that. We could technically do it with this, because there is a little bit of a camera move on this. In fact, we could probably go back through afterwards to add that, but for now we're just going to be drawing like the basic character stuff. Alright, so I gotta put this in a folder. I don't really have the workflow down smoothly yet for doing these just yet.
What I have right now is like a big page of pre-made boxes and stuff, and I'm just scrolling over and...
Oh yeah, that's a good way to do it for sure. I'm just trying out this way because I need a lot of space to doodle on. But I think that is a way that I should maybe consider doing.
I'll send a blank picture of it to the chat if anyone wants to use it.
Sure.
Please do. That'd be great.
Is it the aspect ratio of this film?
Yeah, I edited it to make it that. Or at least
That's cool. Well, we probably shouldn't worry too much about it being exact, but just as long as it gets like most of the widescreen composition. Because like what I just did now was not exact. All right.
Okay, it is going in storyboard chat.
Yeah.
Last time.
I may actually switch over to Storyboard Pro at some point. So I need some mileage in that program. Exercises like this are a good way to get mileage in software that you're not used to yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to keep his head as kind of like this kind of brick or beer can or something. I don't want to go too far into it. I just want to get enough of the expression and enough of the mass of the important parts of the composition of his character design in. Okay. Let's get a little bit of the background there. Keep that sky plane in there. Alright, next panel. Just kind of anticipating there. No. That's when his arms start coming up, so maybe like I think we maybe, let's see here. Yeah, he kind of raises his fist in the frame, then he does this. But that's very animator right here, so maybe this, and then this. So I want to say that for the next beat. Okay. Yeah.
That's good.
Another way to do this is I could have exported the frames from the film beforehand, but I haven't figured out a smooth way to do that that's not time consuming. I tried doing that for League of Legends yesterday. I think I've had is there any kind of like freeware software that like video editing or exporting software that I could do that with? Like an export by a PNG sequence or something from a video? I'm sure there is.
So it would probably be a weird way of doing it, but I think technically you could do that with Blender, with the video sequencer.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I know there's like open source video editors, kind of like a video editor's versions of Blender, like basically open source Premiere type things.
Right.
So I'm gonna look into those later. 'Cause I need to be holistic about what tools I'm gonna use that are open source. So I need to definitely get a hold of some video editing free software. Because I no longer have my Adobe Premiere license. There's some good stuff. I mean, like I just need something that will get me the ability to export things I need. And occasionally edit videos. good. Next one.
Yeah.
So let's maybe put him at the peak of his like overshoot here. Or just whatever it's clear. I think about there. And maybe include a little bit of like a different color for the electricity to indicate the energy coming from his eyes. I think. And remember, you can keep these really loose because you're not really copying him. You're trying to think like a storyboarder. So you're just gonna try to keep things in the ballpark where they are. For the purposes of the copy study, you are kind of learning the shapes of the character a bit, but eventually we're going to be like trying to freehand these, and they'll be a lot like more imperfect inherently. I'm maybe going to try to freehand this one. Let's see if I can get a good image of it somewhere on one of my other desktops where I get a good visual angle of it.
Something I did to save time with this one is his head position is very close to the last one, so I just copy pasted the last drawing of his head and morphed it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna try freehanding this one because I kind of think I got a handle on him. Maybe I could just like use the last frame as a kind of a onion skin. Not being able to onion skin is kind of ass though. Or color code the onion skin is kind of ass though. I think I definitely will want to try Storyboard Pro after this just so I can onion scan and roll and flip. So I'll probably switch over to that after this. Just wanted to give Clip Studio EX a little try. I'm sure that this is like fantastic for storyboarding once I figure out how the timeline stuff works with how the weird layering nuances play out and stuff. Yeah, so this is like kind of, yeah, I'm starting to feel it for this. I might do another draw over or something, but then now I don't have to like waste tedious time copy and pasting the frames. I can just go freehand now that I'm kind of a little bit warmed up. Just look for them basic shapes and keep it loose. I think I might want to adjust the auto recovery in this in Clip Studio EX so that it's not interrupting me as much as it is. I think that's pretty good. Now we can start going through this a little faster because I think I have a better setup for this. So we don't have to necessarily do the in-between here, but let's find a really clear frame here that shows off his anger. It's kind of settling there. Duh. So actually, one of the important things about the storyboard is the effects animation right here that's happening with the sonic boom from his mouth. We don't necessarily have to be concerned about that at the moment, though. Like they probably would have thought out stuff like that in a storyboard like this. To a certain extent, anyway. I think a lot of that goes into the layout phase, though. But yeah. Alright, so. So let's see, where's the optimal placement for this? That works. As long as I can see the damn thing. I'm actually watching my own stream right now, because like the TV that I have the video on that we're using is at a weird angle from me. Oh, and thank you to Sayo for the Prime sub. Every little bit helps, sure. So we got that, and then there's more of the sky plane visible from here, so I probably want to do this to kind of indicate the upshot that's happening here. And now that I'm kind of feeling out things here, I know that this doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. It just has to indicate things, and maybe I can do Winston's eyes as a color code like that. For how mad he is.
Angry.
Yeah, maybe try to get more of the expression in on his face. First, like, you don't have to get everything on this pass. Like, if you're doing a real storyboard, like, you can do something like this, and then you go back through and you clarify it, or punch it up, or redraw it. So that one's good. It's maybe 7. And let's maybe do the settle. Before the, yeah, here. So he kind of shrinks a little, so I'm going to drop him down on the frame a bit. I'm going to try to keep his head angle a bit. So seeing these at small size actually does help, because then I don't get caught up in the details. I'm surrounded by monkeys. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 different video feeds showing Winston right now. One on my iPad, one on OBS, one on a Twitch Stream Manager, and one on the TV next to me.
As you surrounded.
Yeah, he does. Don't get him angry. It is kind of neat how Blizzard managed to successfully make a basically off-brand remix superheroes universe using all these, because like Winston is a grab bag of about several different things. Beast from X-Men, Beast from X-Men, Incredible Hulk, obviously. The Incredible Hulk being the biggest one. I think there's like, he's like a good version of, what's that gorilla? Gorilla Grodd. He's like a good Gorilla Grodd, kind of, from the DC universe. That's pretty That's a pretty suitable storyboard drawing right there, I'd say. It doesn't have to be on model for him or anything like that, just as long as it communicates the idea. And that's what we're going for. Like being able to bust out these things very quickly for your idea, because you'll make pretty drawings later when you're actually like animating and designing the characters and stuff.
Right.
Heck yeah.
And I think that's that for that sequence. So maybe let's take a look at what I did here. And people can post theirs in the Discord chat, and I'll take a look too, and put it on stream. But yeah, here's what I got right here. So start with Winston close up like that. Oops. Starts getting mad. Something I didn't include though is like the reflection in his glasses of Tracer kind of getting wrecked, basically. Yeah, this one's a pretty good draw over. And this is where I think I started freehanding it. That one is on transparency there. There we go. I'd say that's pretty successful. I wonder if there's a way to I know in Photoshop I could like do group by layer comps or something like that. Is there equivalent of that in Clip Studio? Probably not. I'd need like to use the timeline or something to display those in sequence. I think I'm probably going to move to Storyboard Pro now. But that was I'd say that was a successful study.
Yeah.
So maybe take a little break and we can vibe a bit, and then I'm gonna get set up with Storyboard Pro for the next round. I kind of like this one. Yeah. Anyway, I'll save that. And get Storyboard Pro up. Does anyone know offhand what the aspect ratio is that's being used here? Then I can maybe put that in Storyboard Pro.
Normal 16 by 9. So
It's 2.39 by 1. It's the
2.39 by 1?
widescreen. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, this is cinematic. Uh-oh. Storyboard Pro has to update. Oh, I better switch back to the interesting stuff. Alright, so let's maybe switch to, do you want to keep going with another Overwatch thing, or do you want to try a different one? We can always go back to the Overwatch too. I'll see if I can bring up some of the League of Legends stuff I wanted to do. The League of Legends. I think it was the Ignite 2016 trailer. This is something that one of our Discord regulars, Taniko Pantoja, worked on. It was an animator. Yeah, let's just watch this while we're on break.
Nice.
I'll put that on focus, actually. If I can.
This is giving me flashbacks of that doctor's
Whoops,
hand.
sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust this again. Shit, what the hell? There we go. Okay. There, fix that. I should maybe make a pure TV overlay. Let me do that real quick. I'll rewind this to the beginning and replay that after I set up a new Discord scene, a new OBS scene for just showing the TV. So let's see here. Okay. So let's see. We're on like a little short break right now while I get this set up. I'll get this set up and I'm gonna play the video. So, display capture, source. There we go. Then I need to add the chat. So you got alert box. Dang it, dang it. No. Paste. I think I could just start playing it now because I got the thing where I want it to be. We're going to be continually doing exactly this kind of stuff throughout the week. I'm going to be integrating what we're doing here as part of practicing animation and the figure drawing sessions that we do. Like yesterday we did a lot of flipping back between action studies and like stuff from existing animation. But anyway, let's see here. So I'll let me show you Taniko's parts in this. There's two parts in here. Here's one of them. I actually have the rough animation from his blog for this too. He did this like back in 2016. I don't know much more about this thing, but I do know that like he told me Spencer Wan worked on a part in it. Yeah, this is one of his three shots actually. but this whole scene and the one after it is by him. That. I actually want to do a draw-over study of these for animation, not for storyboarding. That's really awesome, right there. He actually has the animatic and other materials and model sheets and stuff still that they gave him for that. So, if it's not an NDA thing, I might have him share those, or I might be able to look at them myself at the very least for my study purposes. This is his other shot right here. Not that. This. So he was actually. He said that he was talking to Spencer Wan when they were both working on this, and Spencer Wan had him looking at a lot of Studio Trigger stuff. So you can kind of see that going on here, like this. Alistar, I think, is the name of the Minotaur character here, right? He feels kind of like just on the edge of being Studio Trigger-ish, kind of, in how he's going up here. But like Yo Yoshinari might push that even more than how Toniko did. It's my instinct, but I think this was a very excellent shot. There's a lot of humor in it. There's a lot of humor in it and great timing for being such a complex action here. That one would be really tricky to board. Let's find something that would be good to board. Yes. That one might be a good one. When he's running, when the guy's running towards the camera here.
Crazy characters.
The character is actually really simple design too. They're loosely they're kind of like really hyper simplified versions of the characters they're based on. Really simple shapes. I think that doing this might result in like, wow, look at that smear.
This would also be a good one to do to integrate the ground plane, keeping track of that.
Yes, absolutely. I'm thinking that this might be a good one to do. That entire sequence. That's really challenging. I don't know if we should do it right away though, because that might be something we want to warm up into. But I think we need to be decisive and pick something right now so we can keep moving on drawing. So maybe we should pick one of Toniko's shots to do a study from. So maybe one of these right here. Right. That one and that one. So maybe just do both of them. So the first one is less complicated. So we'll do that. Alright, so I'm going to open the Storyboard Pro and see if I can get to work real quick, and then we'll get going on that. Alright, so let's see. Storyboard. Plus.
What would the advantage to like Storyboard Pro be compared to a different sort of art program in this case?
It's a very streamlined workflow geared towards storyboard artists, and it's very intuitive. It's more intuitive than Toon Boom Harmony is. Harmony is kind of like Maya, in how complicated it can get.
Oh God.
That sounds terrible.
That's not terrible. It's a powerful piece of software. You can make an entire animated production just using nothing but Harmony. You could even do your concept work within it with like the bitmap brush, or your background paintings and stuff. But
more so terrible to learn.
Kinda. Well, I mean, like it has a learning curve, but it's worth learning. Once you start, like I'm only like maybe about 25% of it. That's enough for me to do a great deal with it. I actually want to learn more. So let's maybe start picking the key points here. I'm going to go through this and see how many we need. So there's the setting the scene here. Character enters screen left. Maybe we could have it like right here. Just like that's the first moment we see. This is kind of a tracking shot that's moving to the right. But let's not worry about that too much for this. Let's just worry about where the characters are moving.
Yeah, it's a small track anyway. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first and last are obviously drawings that we're going to need. So let's maybe kind of guesstimate. Let's just get started now, and then I can kind of eyeball where I think would be a good one to do a storyboard panel of, basically. So we'll do this. Maybe kind of do like a rough, loose ground plane that's kind of, and that's kind of like at the lumpy angle of the, you know what I really need? I need to watch a tutorial from a professional on how to set up a good Storyboard Pro workflow. Or I need maybe some input from some of my friends that work Storyboard Pro. But I'll just try my best.
You got to stay sad.
So I'm gonna draw on the black background layer maybe, and I'm just gonna do my best right now. Just get like those big shapes in, and then kind of craft some perspective stuff around them. I just want enough of the background that it looks kind of like the composition, so I can kind of have the characters running in the same space. And I'm actually thinking before I even start drawing the characters, maybe I should draw a path guide for the path that the characters are taking. So maybe like that, and then like, this is a ground plane here, so something like that. And then there's more ground plane that kind of wraps. That's not that steep. I'm curious, has there been any really particularly interesting 2D animated trailers for games lately that people have seen?
Should we be freehanding now?
Yeah. Or you can copy paste too and draw over the background. It's a good excuse for compositional stuff. Don't worry about the guy appearing on the left here. Just leave it blank. Let's concentrate on getting like a basic ground plane composition for the backdrop, so you can have something for the characters to run over. I'm trying to create the impression that this is kind of going uphill a bit. And this kind of, man, this is rough. But it's, I think it works. And I can add a little sky plane here to kind of indicate kind of contain my camera right here. Kind of contain where my camera is located. Alright, so lower the opacity on this. And now on this layer I'm going to create a guideline maybe for myself on the path that the hero takes. I think he kind of curves like this. And I think the other gal is maybe more like this. Like, she's kind of in a straight line, the other guy's kind of swerving, if I recall. Let's take a look real quick. Check a look. Yeah, he goes all the way over to the side there. So, maybe more like this. Meow. Gotta go fast. And the girl goes, she just goes in a straight line into the scene. Whoops. I think Toniko will be a little flattered, but, well, the reason I want him to do this, I want to do the shots, I want to do like maybe, I'm going to see if we can like just do all the shots that he did here, maybe. Because then, well, maybe not all of them. Maybe that moving shot might be a bit much, but The first two at least, like, because when you have access to the actual person that made the thing, then you can get input on them from it. So be interested in hearing what his insights are. It might be about this scene later when we hear from him again. All right, so I'm just doing this real quick to analyze what the lady's going. All right, she's just kind of really going to. All right, I got the brown path close enough, so I'm just going to ghost that, and then we're going to go back and pick the key poses and start going through. All right, so we'll use this when he first comes in. He takes up a good portion of the frame, doesn't he? I'm gonna maybe I'll keep this to be black.
Space Dad?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if something happened, but your fan has gotten significantly louder.
Yeah, it's kind of it's large and it rattles when it gets on a weird angle. It's kind of vibrating. It kind of vibrates across the floor if I don't put something onto it.
Yeah, it sounds like someone's winding something up back there.
So,
Plane's taking off.
well, I'd be happy to get maybe I should get my Vornado fan from upstairs and use that instead of this rickety thing.
No, it's fine. Space Dad's fan's just angry.
Just give him time to breathe.
I've been using the Vornado fan before with this microphone, and no one ever heard it. So maybe I should grab that during the next break. Let's do that, and maybe I'll add a little splash for the. Nice. I'll do a little purple. So just add purple color in there. For him hitting the ground. Alright, so next thing. Duplicate panel. Get rid of this panel. And yeah, I'm gonna have to bring it into this screen size, just so I can click over to it easier without having to unpause it by accident. Alright, so I'm thinking the next one would be maybe where he's kind of skidding there. That's good.
Yeah, that's.
Alright, I'll turn on onion skin. Yeah, I'm using this, like I said, I'm using this to kind of learn how to do whoa! Okay, there we go. I'm using this to kind of learn Storyboard Pro. So. Alright, let's gotta think in terms of gestural shapes for this exercise. That works. And he's got the skids of what's going on underneath him. For whatever, yeah. It's like it's supposed to be water or something, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Unless it's yeah. I think they're supposed to be running across a stream or something, or like moist ground. I don't know.
A magic stream.
It looks cool, okay. Like, oh yeah, it just add a little pizzazz to when he's stepping around. To when he's a little pizzazz to your big steppy. Anything is okay, so that sword is pretty important when he's gripping there. So keep that, maybe. And add some of the purple for the skids. I'll maybe add an arrow of him like that, kind of sweeping, showing the path he took to get to that pose. Okay, duplicate panel, delete, Create new panel. And to our next drawing. So he's kind of skidding down there, and then we want him when he's kind of like turning around here. Maybe that. I think that'll work. We kind of want him when he's kind of turning on his heel with that nice long straight leg, I think. It's coming out like right to the edge of the frame there. This is almost kind of a continuity of what we were doing yesterday in animation class, and afterwards. Then why not? Lower opacity and go back and get something cleaner. Oh man, I got the angle of his shoulders all wrong. That's in Storyboard Pro is kind of throwing off my visual engagement right now. That's close enough for now, I think. Alright, next pose. So he comes up like this, but he does turn there, so that is very important. So maybe have him there. That's good. It's going to be shrinking into the background too. It's got a perspective. Something like this. A little tricky to read out of context some of what's going on because of the way the silhouette is covering up his leg, but I think I got it. I'm maybe not going to dwell on these as much as the other ones. That we did with Winston. So next panel. I almost kind of want to do this. It's because he's like straightening out in the direction he's going to run in. Yeah, let's do that. Onion skin that shit and have him heel turn. So we can lean a little bit into a pseudo animation study for this too, even if it's like excessive panels. Which leg is lifting up there? It's that same one. What's the foot doing? It's coming up like that. Okay, that's the bottom of the foot. So this is mostly for mileage this time, but like in the future we're gonna maybe work on personal project stuff, and I'll probably walk through breaking down some of my own stuff. I actually might give a preview of some of the things I want to use as fodder for future storyboarding stuff. But like what we're doing now is kind of supposed to loosen us up for that stuff. A little bit. I don't think I gave him enough space to run in this. Let's see here. Maybe if I move this a little bit more to the left. But like doing this, I have like a couple projects where I need to like think through scenes in this manner, and this is giving me some ideas of and training my muscle memory to use that. I probably would want to go from this to maybe watching some videos from storyboard artists doing demos, so I can kind of observe how not to get caught up in certain things and how to maybe get simplify figures and stuff. So I'm actually gonna say, like, for that panel that we just did, just add the head of the other character on the left side. You don't have to redraw the dude. I'm going to add an indication of the character entering from the left side. I'm just going to make sure that the underside of her chin is indicated, so we know what direction her head is looking. Going to be more of the cheek in front of the nose. I just need something that kind of indicates her head direction without being overly detailed. Okay, so she comes into frame here. I think that'd be a good one, and at this point you can redraw. You can draw the next frame of the dude too. So draw them both, I would say. Let's make sure that's saved. So do the dude on a separate layer, I think. Thinking, like, I'm starting to come up with some rules for how I would draw this guy, so I can simplify it, make things a little less complicated for myself. So I'm maybe thinking like a box and like stick limbs, kind of like this. Box in a circle and stick limbs, just to get down the basic pose of what's happening without worrying about detail. For this lady and the more in the foreground, I might want to. Let's see, what is she doing? She's leaning forward, kind of a Naruto run, with her arms kind of in warp perspective towards the camera, so like kind of this sort of thing. I wonder if I might get better. I tend to prefer drawing in bitmap brush, and I think Harmony has a bitmap brush. So I might try that for some of these. So when I draw in vectors, I tend to like draw very tangly, kind of like this. But I seem to have a better feel for bitmap brushes. There's a little bit, I think that's some of the foreground is covering up her foot. I'm not going to include that, but that is good, something to be aware of. This character actually does have like ball sockets for her joints. Let's maybe add a little cube shape so I can kind of tell the direction of her head a bit. Lower the opacity a bit, maybe. Do a cleaner version. Really low the opacity on that. It's really sloppy. It's gonna be fucking sloppy as hell until I get a good feel for the vector brush. Or if I maybe start using the bitmap brush. Next panel. How much further does it go? That's the question. It kind of goes up to when he's way in the backdrop there. Let's actually like start with this. Just so we know where the characters are going. Then we can kind of fill in the gaps, including that little orb thing that was with her. So this dude's going to be very tiny by this point. I think this is where the fact that I'm not doing the camera move is kind of screwing me a little bit. The lady's more like this. See how simple her shapes are in her character design when it's that far back. Alright. Now we work inwards and pick a midpoint somewhere to work with. Like, I want to say here. But this guy, it looks like he's almost kind of like jumping over the next hill, so to speak. So try that. So I'm going to kind of think about the ground in the sky plane and how much bigger or smaller the characters are going to change in size. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not going for perfection here. We're trying to kind of get a feel on this stuff. So her little orb thing is kind of following like this path right here, this kind of dippy path. I'm gonna maybe like do that a little bit here, just kind of so I can see that when I'm ghosting on the panel. But I'm gonna make that little thing have like kind of a center line on it, because that seems really important for what it is, and add some of its little kind of blades out the sides. Shade the bottom a bit so we know what direction it's facing. Cool. Let's go back further. We might not need too much more, like just this maybe, because that's when her orb thing enters the frame. So go back and make a panel in between those two. I wonder how well this would work like if we did like a Pixar film or something. I mean, for future sessions. I mean, it can work with anything. I'm just curious what the result would be. We're definitely going to do this for live action stuff too in the future as well. So, get her about here-ish.
I actually have a few image sequences from some live action things.
Nice. DM me and send them to me. I can start using the study fodder for our classes in Discord. In fact, if you have any reference folders of like live action reference or like photo reference of any kind, not just specifically for animation. It's like stuff that would be good to put on for timed figure poses or draw over studies. If you have image folders of references that you've made, find some way to save and share the whole folder so I can download the whole folder, maybe as a zip, and unzip it as a folder. And then I can start using it for some of our classes. Yeah, I definitely screwed myself a little bit here. I think he is more over kind of maybe if I did this and brought him up in size a bit, and then for this one over here, up in size. Oh yeah, there's 2 different layers for him here. Okay, over here. Size. Then maybe if I push this over to the right a bit, and this over to the right some more, that might give me some more space to do this. Where's the panel that I need for the, yeah, that's what I need for her. He's like here-ish, I'll say. Other leg down, about here. Yeah. This is kind of messed up. I have to make some more adjustments, I think. Maybe push this a little bit more to the left. Push this a little bit more to the left. Push this more to the left. Push this more to the left. And let's see where I stand now. It's a little better. It's still not good, very good. I think this needs to go further. This needs to go further. And I just need to accept that the tracking shot would have given me more space. And also my measurements of the proportions of the scene are probably way off. Alright, let's see how the sequence looks. I don't know how to time things properly yet in Storyboard Pro in a way that's intuitive. I'm sure that there is a way, but I'm going to have to maybe go panel by panel here. So let's maybe duplicate this frame so I can see. But we would be technically on the start of a break right now while I put this up. Or does anybody think we need another panel for this?
I think this is good.
Yeah. Alright, so let's see what I got here. Zoom in on that. So I can get a good view on stream. Yeah, you can totally tell what's going on. And that's what you should be shooting for. This is actually even close to how some like quick first passes at animation will often look. Like this is not too off the mark for like a first pass at animation, even though this is supposed to be a storyboard kind of study. For a real animation thing though, you'd have the layout worked out a lot better for one thing. But yeah, the take out because I got a gift that arrived in the mail from a family friend. A microwavable potato pocket thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me see if I can put it on screen. Potato pocket. Alright, so we'll take a little break from this. I wanted to share some... Here it is. This is what they sent me. They saw me cooking a baked potato the other day, and I guess they figured I could use that. And it just came in the mail randomly. That was nice. So, actually, like, some stuff I want to go over. Like, I want people to start wrapping their heads around the idea of doing story sketches for stuff. This is very sketchy. This is closer to kind of a finished drawing, I guess, but this is kind of in the vein of what story sketches would look like. For like, there's a tremendous amount of storytelling going on in this scene here. So, not just for like individual story panels telling a sequence, like a part of the storyboard artist's repertoire is going to be exercising their storytelling abilities, even for single panel stuff like this. Let's maybe take a look at more of this guy's work, because based on that random thing I saw, there might be other cool stuff worth seeing in his portfolio. Yeah, there's a lot of great storytelling and pushed shapes and stuff in his portfolio. Yeah, like all kinds of stuff like this. So a lot of these I think are editorial images. But I'll show you some examples from my own work that might show off a little bit of this kind of stuff. I'll bring it up real quick. Oops, no, not that. I found what's a really good example in here. Oh, I don't know. Well, first off, you can do kind of studies from real life. Like this is from a video of an actual dog doing this that I ran across on Twitter. Like an owner petting him. Then the owner pulls his hand away, and the dog actually has like this really kind of like very human expression. It was a real dog. Like this is a video of a real dog. Kind of like glared at him like, "Huh? What are you stopping petting me?" And the dog kind of like huffed and like grabbed the person by the wrist, put the wrist back on his body, and kind of looked up at him like, "Please pet." I thought that was like a really great story, and I also got some sketching of the animal acting in there. But I don't know, like, I mean, this is kind of character designy, but there's a little bit of story kind of sketching thinking going on in this one, like trying to do a Berserk take on Donald Duck. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. Some of these are more character designy, but this one, like, I'm kind of improvising to, like, of a basis for like what could be like a character design illustration, roughed out thing of sort of like a spellcaster and like a spellcaster flapper girl, which character that might fit in like a Mike Mignola or a Call of Cthulhu ish setting. This would be an example of a story of kind of messing around in your sketchbook with like story stuff. So this is taking the characters from Dorohedoro, making them into like a public access Muppet Show kind of thing. Let's see if we can find some other good examples. Here we go. This one, I created this image after like finding a bunch of random images on Pinterest, and kind of like riffing on them. So this tells a complete story. This tells a story here and could be used for like as the basis of an illustration or something, or as a basis for a larger story or something like that. It's the kind of stuff you can do where you just randomly jam on different images and combine different ideas together, and you can work really rough and loose with the idea, just enough to get the idea down. Oops. Here's another example of this sort of thing. I was thinking about animators who get overstressed. So this character's like an animator, working down here with like hole pegs and stuff at one of the flat Japanese style light tables. So I was thinking of like a Japanese face stealing demon that basically kind of represents the stress that a lot of young Japanese animators go through of like being ridiculously overworked, and how crushing the industry is over there. Let's see if I can find some other good examples. Oh yeah. I was thinking of like I did like a few drawings of like the DuckTales characters as RPG party members. So Scrooge McDuck is a wizard. Here's another storytelling drawing where I kind of jammed on some other ideas, and I actually used photo reference for this dude's pose here. I kind of came up with this little thing here. But like, I mean, like that one I was like playing with I like the contrast between this kind of depressed, gothic-y Tim Burton kid here on the left, Tim Burton-ish kid on the left, and this really cute kind of Animal Crossing looking character on the right. Come on, cheer up. Let's see here. Some other good examples of storytelling. There's a lot more character design in this folder. Oh, here's one. This one is like a kind of a thumbnail of like basically like storytelling type stuff of what could be like a comic or a simple idea. So I have a very negative view of the concept of celebrity. Like I like artists that I admire, and authors and other people and stuff, and people who actually do neat stuff or have something of value to contribute. And I mean, I'm cool with kind of like vibing on like listening to a podcast with someone who has a nice personality that's kind of fun to listen to. But I hate the concept of celebrity. I hate celebrity culture. The worship of a person is just so grotesque to me. Like, I'd like to learn from people and stuff, and I'd like to like vibe with their work and things like that, but like just the whole wheelhouse of celebrity I just can't stand. So I made this little kind of xenomorph take on the life cycle of a celebrity. Discovery, Big Sack opens the hook, get cut of a face hugger, engineering growth, breakthrough success, yes, queen, sustained success, this kind of monster ripping off somebody's head, mass commodification, and shitting out more imitated clones of itself, of like more imitated clones of itself, or like mass producing its own shit or whatever. But yeah, I was in a foul mood that day. Let's see, is there any other examples in this folder? Oh, here, this is me vibing from so we were in a draw pile and I did this when I was just vibing from a song that I liked, Amoxia by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So I actually wrote the lyrics on the page here, and I was thinking of like kind of a prog rock album cover or comic cover sort of thing here, with these kind of body horror creatures and stuff. I've been kind of vibing on that music for the last couple of months, and I want to do some kind of an animation with it. So this is kind of a mood exploration for some of the ideas. Oh, Yeah, I don't know if this really counts as storytelling, but this is me combining the Basil Wolverton's style with the Sailor Moon meme. Alright, let's see here. I got Quentin Tarantino. Ever vigilant, waiting for feet pictures on our Discord. Did that a few months ago. Oh, this is definitely a story sketch. I did this when we were watching Battle Angel Alita in movie night. Alita, I posted cringe. So for those who haven't seen the movie, this character like loses his body and tries to climb the giant like kind of city in the sky cables that in order to that are like protected by these giant like grinding wheels that will like rip up your body if you try climbing up them. And Alita tries to rescue him. His body gets shredded, and then he he falls to his death basically. He goes a little nuts. He's kind of lost his human. Oh, this is more of the same kind of theme with this girl who's who's gothy but a little bit more perky. Those are the sketches I did before that other one. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about with, like, playing with story ideas, and, like, you don't have to confine them to a single panel. You can sometimes do a single image to kind of capture an idea that might serve as the basis of a story sequence or panel sequence or something, or key images. Like this kind of thing here. There's another good example in here somewhere, I think. Alright, this is another one. This is for an older story idea that would take longer to explain, but this is obviously the hero.
Huh?
Someone asking a question? Anyway,
Huh?
what's going on? I think we got what language is the person in our Discord speaking? Well, anyway, so one of the optional homework pieces I want to give people this week is taking a page from a comic. This is actually prep work I did for something for a project I never finished that I actually think I might want to go back to for our animation class and also for the storyboarding class. And this is the challenge is to take like a page or a segment from a comic and animate it, adapt it to animation. So I kind of did like drawovers and stuff to kind of break it down a bit, and I worked out like the functionality of how the gun in it would be animated, and I kind of worked out the character design a little bit, kept it simple, tried to capture the feel of the comic character that it's based on, and did a kind of a layout exercise to figure out where how stuff would kind of fit around for how to animate it. So I definitely want to go back to that, and when I do, I want to break it down a little bit more into storyboards before I work it out some more. So I'm actually going to be adding that to the homework this week of I want people to take a page from a comic that they like and try to adapt it for animation. Try to keep it short and simple, something that's doable, because I want to hopefully prod people in the direction of actually animating it. So start with the storyboard and start breaking down some of the things that and start thinking about and breaking down the things that you're going to probably wind up animating. And you also do not have to strictly follow the comic page. That's probably what I'm going to do when I go back to this. I won't strictly follow the comic this way. I'll do my own riff on it, on the same idea, using my own storyboard. But yeah, take a good crack at it. Basically, you don't have to necessarily finish it, but try to dip your toes into breaking it down to a storyboard. Anyway, so we're going to take a very short break, and then we will get back to drawing more panels. Let's switch it back over to the reference focus. There we go. We could keep going on this, but I think we got plenty out of this that, and I'm sick of drawing that guy from the rear. So we're gonna grab something else, either from this or actually let's do this. The Heroes in the Storm trailer. Heroes of the Storm. So take a look at this and pick something from here to do. I want to find out what animation studio did this. This is really nice. There's a lot of great stuff in it, but one of the shots that really sold me on it was on the level of quality that's at play here is. Oh, hang on. This one, just from like how everything about this drawing is handled right here. Let's back it up a bit. That is really, really, really nicely drawn. That is someone who really understands human faces really well. Whoever drew and animated that. And there's great acting in that, just for being so few frames. Let's see how many frames that actually is. We may actually do a study from this next, because it's relatively contained. So let's see here. Start here. This first frame. I think there's a second frame, third frame, I think. So, second frame. Third frame. There might be a fourth in there, but it might be really close and hard to tell. I think that's the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. I think her head is still with her body kind of following right now. Oh, it's like so much conveyed, and it's just in like so few frames. Because this is how well drawn that is. So I think we should maybe do this next. I'm going to leave this here. I'm actually going to physically get started on it in a bit, but I need to hit the restroom real quick. I'll leave this for you guys to try. While I go do that. Alright, there we go. Fresh file. Let's check up some stuff. I think we're ready to go, so I'm gonna maybe make a bitmap layer and see how that might help me with doing this. See if I can get a good bitmap brush that might have a good feel to it. Some marker brush. That feels kind of nice, actually. Colored pencil. Ooh, yeah. That might be good. Yeah, I kind of like it. It's a nice rough, loose feel. I'll do this freehand. Oh yeah, this is much better than those stanky looking vector lines. This feels a little bit better for me, for sure. I'm not going to get too caught up in her facial details for this pass, at least. Like this is the kind of thing where, yeah, the person who made this did an exquisite head drawing here, but for the purposes of this, I maybe want to go lighter and simpler. Just enough to kind of record. Oh, I didn't get the head angle right, did I? It's more like this. And the more of that back is coming up over here. I just got her shield up in frame here. So maybe I should make that really dark. Kind of set that apart. I don't really have to be too concerned with. I think that the camera is looking down at her, so. You hear the neighbors there? It's like a kid freaking out next door, I think. Does anyone hear the kid throwing the tantrum right now? There we go. That actually looks not too bad. Alright, so next panel. So maybe we'll do the next. Actually, wow. Do you guys hear that? Yes, there is. Let me close the window. That sucks too. I'm probably going to forget to reopen the window. So I think we'll just go straight into this panel. I'd love to do an animation exercise of this. And maybe I could do that later in Storyboard Pro with these two panels as a starting point. But for now, let's do this let's use this for practice fodder. I can, because of how the camera move works, I can just literally just move her head. Whoops. I can literally just move her head up. Is she, well, first thing I want to see, is she moving her body? Yes, she is moving her body. She's moving her body and her shield. So everything's changing posture. That comes up first. In fact, I would actually say what we should do is should maybe break it down more, but we'll go back and do that. We'll get the first two big poses first. Let's start in the end pose. So here's the end pose. By the end pose, she's raised her. Whoops. She's raised her body up. Whoops. She's raised her body up more and leveled her shoulders up. There's kind of a backdrop back there. Is that the ground behind her? Are we looking down at her? Like looking down at her from the point of view above, from the flying demon character that's soaring over her. I think that's what's going on. Yeah, I kind of want to see a Heroes of the Storm Saturday morning cartoon show kind of thing, or an animated series, just using the entire Blizzard universe.
Saturday morning until one of them screaming combat time.
Blizzard is developing some kind of an animated series, like, apparently. There was like something about an Overwatch animated series in development. But I don't know if it was just rumors. It was supposedly leaked. So this should probably go up a bit, maybe. Like that. And her shield is getting kind of more turned over here, let's say. Let's darken that in. Not too worried about detail, I just want something that looks plausibly like her expression. And with the eye line and stuff, so I can kind of gauge what angle her head is. That's looking pretty alright, I would say. Want to know a secret though? If you want to make a shot like this, shoot your own reference. Takes the guesswork even out of doing the storyboard. So this gets moved more down into frame so it's visible. And let's maybe do a breakdown panel between them. Shoot. I think, how do I lasso stuff in this, in the bitmap layer to move around? I don't think I can I? Yeah, it's a pain. That's not letting me draw now. There we go. I actually got the shield way closer than I bargained for. How's everyone doing this? Are you getting something out of this?
I am learning that I need to build a much quick form.
So I don't. Is it a flat backdrop against her? I don't know what's behind her exactly. I'm just gonna kind of guess and throw a ground plane behind her. It's hard for me to see. It's because it's really dark on the monitors I'm looking at. But anyway, so delete that. Whoops. So delete that. That's good. get a bitmap layer in there, and we'll figure out what our little midpoint is going to be. I know what it'll be. Before she even moves her body, bring her head up a little bit. That's the first breakdown that we'll use. This is going to turn like into a pseudo animation exercise, but I think for this that's okay. We'll do a after we finish this exercise, we'll do like a dynamic shot, probably from this, to close things out. So what I'm doing now is I'm erasing her head, so I can draw her head at an up tilt, maybe turn off onion skinning. So head's raising up. I like her haircut. Oops, that does not look right, does it? Her head kind of changes, her head kind of grows in size for me. I meant to erase that. And maybe try it with onion skin. So maybe add an extra panel so I'm not getting confused with the onion skinning what's happening after. That's enough. Make it more of her hair shape, closer to how the character's hair shape is, something like that. Alright, so next breakdown. Let's see where the end point is again. It's about there, so we'll maybe go about when she makes a big move with her body, like that. So she's kind of like raising her body, but the camera's following her. Things are inherently going to probably look a little off because I'm not really doing the camera move in the Storyboard Pro thing that I'm doing. And that shield is always on screen, so I'm going to make sure to include that. Alright, let's see how that looks. So it's not as extreme as what's actually happening in the film, the camera move. Like I kind of did a half-assed version of the camera move here. Probably help if I had another background layer that she was moving it over to kind of do that. But the idea is kind of still there. So I'm going to call that a successful study. And I'm going to grab a bite to eat, and we'll move on. Let's find a key image here, and then our next study should be a really dynamic sequence that will give us enough to work with for about 30 minutes or so. That's really nice. Maybe try to find a pivotal story moment somewhere in here. Preferably an action scene, though. Oh, I know. I know what we're gonna do. Watch this. That's what we're gonna do. I think we might even do like some of the shots that are preceding it, too. So let's take a look at this real quick before I grab a snack. Let's look at the setup for this punch. Okay, so this is where the stakes are being set up for this punch. Powerful, dominant character. Our hero over here on the left is sort of it's kind of like a posture that somebody who's just been like punched would take, sort of, even though they weren't really punched, their tank was punched. Hero gets up to get ready to fight back. Hero starts getting up to fight back. That's really nice posing. We'll actually I think we'll start with this scene. Close up of the villain. We might skip over this part. We want to concentrate on the action that the hero's taking. So immediately start with an extreme close-up of the hero. This is a very anime-style punch. I forget the name for this kind of punch, but this style of punch was coined by a particular Japanese animator. Look at that! Look at how extreme that is. Extreme close-up, and there's the itty bitty fist way back there with depth of field focus on there. In Storyboard Pro, I might actually like blur a layer to like reinforce that or something. It comes really close in frame. Here comes the fist. It's coming towards us. Here it comes with a little bit of motion blur jaggies on it. I'm pretty sure this was animated in Flash. That kind of has that look to me.
It looks almost exactly like one of the My Hero Academia punches.
Yeah. the same kind of design. Oh look, a multiple. Right there. Love them multiple. Love spotting them multiples. But anyway, we're not going to be too concerned with that. What we're concerned with the key moments that describe what's going on. So like for this, we do this. It's a setup. We definitely do this because that's actually the point of contact when the punch is making contact with the face, I believe. And then we would do probably somewhere around here, I would say, followed by camera pullback to like the very end here, basically, with the camera move on it, basically. So it doesn't have to be too complicated. That's about like I'd say that's about 4 poses in this shot. For this, I would say definitely this at the very end. Definitely this. And definitely this. Like maybe three to 4 poses here. So 1, 2, 3, and where's the 4th one? The 4th one is, whoops. 4th one is the first. This is the first image here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think using the rule of 4s would be nice for some of these or something, from how I'm seeing things break down. So we did want to do this. There would probably be about 3 or 4 faces here at the start, middle, the start and end, and 2 poses in the middle to kind of describe it. 2 to 3 poses in the 1 to 3 poses in the middle. So what are our poses here? Our poses are going to be the start and the end pose. And that's the start, actually. We might not do the camera pull back. This will probably be our start. Or this, actually, because that's when everything kind of settles. Next pose, because the hero... Next pose would probably be like this. And then it would just be... And the next pose would be the hero raising their head to about here-ish. Next pose would be that, or how, yeah, that would be about 4 poses again. Also counting the lady in the background, the villainess in the background who's kind of doing a rearing up motion here with her claws and with her feet. 1, 2. That's 2. That's 2. 3, 4. Four would be the end point for her too. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 on either of them. So we'll use that rule. We'll use the rule of 4s on this to do our shots. Do them fast and loose, and we'll close out the evening after we finish this sequence. It should be a pretty fun one to do. We might not do the whole sequence, but we'll try to get a good portion. We'll try to get a good solid portion of it practiced. So I'm going to get a snack. And then we'll be back for this. Here, let me give you the starter pose here. I think we're gonna actually maybe start with... I think we're gonna start with the final punch, actually. Why not? So that's what we're gonna do. So... So maybe start with the final image here, and we can work our way backwards. So I'll leave it on here during the break so people can try to get this in, basically. I'm going to take a very short break to get some food, and then I'll be back.
Shoryuken.
So wait a minute, is he giving us the end pose to work backwards on, or is he just leaving it there for now?
I think he just wanted us to start on this pose. I'm not sure if he's going to let us go forward or backwards.
Oh, weird. Okay.
You can also look up the same YouTube video yourself.
Yeah, luckily I have that pulled up, but I was just wondering if we were working backwards or forwards, but I'll probably figure it out.
Wait, shit, are we supposed to be drawing?
I think that was the intent.
Yeah,
Oops.
just got a warm up, I suppose. I mean, he'll probably just start us proper when he gets back with some food.
Okay. Save that. Get a new thingy open. So. And I heard what you were saying when I was walking away, and I couldn't be on mic. So yeah, to answer your question, I want people to maybe just start drawing on this pose, because this is the final pose and it's the very most important pose of this sequence. So it'd be a good idea to start with this. You can always revise it if it's not working. But it's good to maybe establish where the thing is going first, basically. And you might do that a lot in your actual storyboarding, like you'd start with the cool impact moment, and then you would work your way backwards to kind of figure out, okay, what actually happens before this. So big old line of action right here, actually. I'm actually not even pushing it as far as I should. But you can even like the line of actions here are really clear. Like you could break this down to like just one line for each of the opposing forms here. Like that. Or like that. So we do that. Yeah, I'll leave those line of actions in. Those are nice. Then I can eyeball her the hip tilt of the arachnid lady. Get to some of the gesture drawing in. I don't have it perfectly framed how it is up there, so I'm Kind of losing some of the top of her head there. Maybe if I resized it. But I'm just going to leave it like this. So I'm just trying to get the basic idea of what's going on. And once I'm satisfied with it, I'll move on, and I can always revise it later if I need it to work a little better. I think I do need to resize it. Let's do that. So the scale needs to be shrunken, actually. Oops. So I should have done these on separate layers so I could resize the individual elements. Ah, that's an advantage of working with vector in this. Ugh. What a pain. Well, I'll just beef up the insect lady, or the arachnid lady. That's her pelvis down there. Torso twist. Bottom of the chin. Let's get the eyeline a little bit more on her, so I know what the heck she's doing. And more of an indication of the side plane, a little bit of her pelvis, kind of. Leg going off frame. Her bottom of her foot and her boot. Just enough so we know what's going on, even if it's not, even if it's like super rough drawing. I'm probably like vastly over noodling into this. Let's get the, maybe darken in the underside of that. Let's get more of a thicker outline around her arm. There. I think that's pretty good. Alright, so now I'm going to start working backwards. Let's do that by putting a panel in front of that one. Whoops. Moving this one here. Alright, so we're going to go back all the way to the beginning. To the start of the shot. There we go. That's our next drawing. Someone just DM'd me. Is a stream tomorrow? No one told me about a stream on Sunday. What is the stream? Does anyone know anything about a stream that's happening tomorrow for the Discord? Let's see, what's a good size ratio for her head? Something like that. So you got those two huge eyes. Maybe I should do them green, bright green. Oops. That. Have some fun with the lips. Just get her basic shapes going of her character design. I'm not getting too detailed, just as long as I get kind of like the composition that's being created by her character design a little bit. And so we know that it's her. And also what direction her shoulders are pointing at us from. Oh, that's a little bit far out, isn't it? Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. Sock it to me, baby. How you all doing? Are you enjoying this? Hello?
Heck yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing a crash course on A, how to proportion right, and B, how to work OpenTunes.
Yeah. You using OpenTunes for this?
Yeah, it was the best piece of software I could find to just do storyboarding-esque things without making me want to hurt myself.
Yeah. Whatever works. Whatever gets the job done. You can also be doing.
I mean, UI-wise, it was easier to.
You can also like
basic aspects of this.
You can also do like
create
Sharpie on like pads of paper, cheap paper or something. It's whatever you can draw with, really. Like, you can use really ridiculously cheap materials for doing storyboards. They're not made to be pretty; they're made to describe an idea. After all. Okay, let's see. I need more. I know I need 2 more panels. So the next one will be. The next pose will be. Are you guys good with this now? I can move on. Next one, I think, will be the point of contact right here, where it gets punched in the face. So, lucky me, I can just duplicate what I had on the last panel. And then make a new bitmap layer. That fist is cutting across her body pretty nicely, I'd say. Some of these characters, like the tank pilot from Heroes of the Storm, who isn't really in any. So they actually created a new hero personality, like for her, just for Heroes of the Storm, basically. I really like her. She's got a really good personality for her character in game. I wish she was like more of a character somehow elsewhere, but I mean,
isn't she one of your units from StarCraft?
Well, yeah, she's basically supposed to be a StarCraft unit, but she's like a heroified version of that like that kind of unit, basically. Like, I don't think she actually is a character that appears in the story. She was like made up specifically for Heroes of the Storm. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know the plot of StarCraft 2.
I think the character design was in StarCraft 2. I just don't think she had anything to actually do with anything.
Right. They gave her more character development, I guess. Maybe like. Any StarCraft 2 fanboys and girls in the audience, feel free to correct me on this, by the way. Oops, I got that a little bit off. I want to include some action lines here. The third pose, which will be the last pose for this shot, and we'll do one more action shot after this, and that'll be the end of our session. So let's see, what pose do we want? We want kind of the reaction to the punch, not that, but something more like this. That's closer to the final pose, but not zoomed out. So maybe we're like this. It's blurry, but I think you can get the general gist of things. Oops. She's got a Rosie the Riveter vibe to her that's pretty fun. Mixed with like kind of a Viking girl sort of thing. I think she has some funny banter with the Lost Vikings in Heroes of the Storm. I'm really happy to see the Lost Vikings be fully developed as cartoon personalities in Heroes of the Storm, actually.
No, only if they would redo their entire game with this.
Yeah, they seriously, like, what they did to develop the characters and the voices and stuff and the personalities more of that they did in Heroes of the Storm. If they did it, they, like, why can't Blizzard just, like, do a true Lost Vikings game, like Blizzard doing a puzzle platformer?
Yeah, their introduction trailer was just hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard basically just doing like Blizzard doing like other genres of games. I mean, if they want to do like if they want to do a racing game again, they could do they could resurrect rock and roll racing and stuff. I'm very interested in like Blizzard trying lots of smaller games that might be more self-contained experiences and stuff in the future. Like Blizzard basically making its own indie game studio within its studio, kind of, for its own franchises. Or original ones. I mean, like, in case somebody has, like, a really good idea in the studio for an indie game that might be a very new franchise. And that's unique enough for the Blizzard touch. I mean, that'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, the main thing is, I want a fucking another Lost Vikings game, goddammit.
I think they actually put up the original one for like free on like the website or something.
Yeah, something like that. Like BattleNet free download or something. There we go. That's a pretty good study of her, I'd say. I'm doing more of a figure study than I would of like a storyboard drawing, which is all right. This exercise should be 1 part storyboard practice, 1 part drawing practice. It's looking pretty good. See if I can get some of the indication of the nose, upper lip, that squinch of the eyes, the upper shadow of the eye. It's a damn good punch. Too bad they get killed at the end.
Don't worry, they got a respawn timer.
Yeah, they do. Let's get her boobs in. Need to draw the direction of the chesticles. That's good enough, I think. Oops. Let's see how that looks in frame by frame. And then let's maybe, here, I'm gonna make another layer, just for completeness sake. And I'm maybe gonna just like rough in a kind of like this little indicator right here to indicate that the camera is zooming back right here. It's looking pretty nice. Bam. I could even push this final expose a little more, I think. Just kind of really sell it a little bit more. But, I mean, it's working. Let's do that a bit, actually. Really push that over. Bam. Maybe I can make like an impact kind of indication here. Yeah, cool. Alright, so let's maybe do, for the next one, let's do the setup to this. Oh, let's do the previous sequence to this punch. So that's a very classic anime punch, and we can work in we can do the same thing. This time though, I think the key moment that we want to focus on is this one. This one is very important because this sets up what's going to happen with throwing the punch. So let's see, I'm actually going to use this, put this inside the same storyboard. New scene, there we go. I'm going to put this proceeding in this, whoops. How do I change the order of these scenes? In Storyboard Pro, that's the question. Let's see. Okay, alright, I got it now. Alright, so, alright, there actually is a ground plane behind her, so maybe I'm going to do that in light blue. Whoops, it's not light enough. I'm going to do that in light blue over the side here. I think this is just something that works. Let's get that in there. I'm going to get a bitmap of her. She's very full frame right now. A little bit of cartoon head drawing action going on here. Great facial expressions. But I'm going to keep this loose without really tightening it up too much, just as long as the expression reads. As long as the important elements are there, like her tufts of hair, which I might want to darken actually. Might want to add her pupils because they seem really important. There's like a flash in her pupils that happens during the. There's like lots of little tiny things that the animators added as touches to this. Just kind of going uncanny valley here with me on the eyes, so I want to fix that a bit. Yeah, just that. Let's get her eyes working a bit.
And remember, kids, never render in OpenTunes because it will crash.
I'm gonna get rid of her eyes actually. Let's see here. It's looking a little wonky to me. And I need simplicity right now. So I need to go from each of these. I need to go between each of these really quickly. Alright, so, and then I got that. Now that I got that, I'm going to actually make her fist on a separate layer because I might want to mess with the blur tools in Storyboard Pro to kind of blur the focus on that fist back there. get her. Try to get a clear picture of her fist with her knuckles here. Try to define that a little better. Go back to her. Maybe darken in some of the areas here. Boost up my brush size a bit. Add in more of a defined outline to that. To the important areas. Yeah, I can see maybe definitely adapting to the bitmap brush in this. Just have to learn kind of the ins and outs of Storyboard Pro. Whatever gets me smooth feeling of drawing. I feel like those are kind of important to her a little bit too, so we'll include that. So we'll kind of football player face makeup. What do they call that actually? That's the makeup things that are under her eyes. It's like reduce glare.
Underlines? I'm not sure.
It's supposed to like absorb light that would normally get reflected up into your eyes and kind of.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You see Becker.
Yeah, like football players use them. I think there's I think she's a tank pilot. Not. I don't know if I can really see. I'd have to like see if like combat people actually use it. I mean, I've seen like face camo that kind of looks like that, but I really have to like look and think about that. Anyway, so she got a fist back there. Oops, I did some stuff down there that's not supposed to be there. But whatever. So let's see if I can blur this. How do I blur this? Tools. How do I blur? Do I right click on the panel? Apply effect on bitmap layer. Here we go. Blur. Let's see, about 25. That's way too much. Blur. 15. Too much. Blur. 3. That's good. Yeah, that's nice. Maybe blur the background too, but I won't worry about that for the moment. Anyway, so we're gonna move on to the next couple panels. So we got that key moment of that very important punch, and we need at least 3 other panels for this. Start. So maybe we move backwards to the first panel. Right here. All right. So just get this in real quick. I'm reasonably confident I can freehand this. Because she is just full frame. It's like, it's just that's one of the things about character design. Like, this character is pretty nicely designed to have moments like this. And especially with this particular studio. With the people that are working on this, this short. This trailer short, they can handle like facial close-ups really well. But like, if you tried doing this with like say Homer Simpson, it probably wouldn't work as well. You just see like a fucking circles and dots and stuff.
I'd watch the Simpsons anime. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, I mean, like if you try to do a close-up like this on Homer's design without changing his design.
Yeah, it would.
Technically, they did do an anime one. It was the 80s Miami Vice opening that they did.
Yeah, the couch gag. They did a bunch of stuff like that. Like, I'm wondering why they don't do whole episodes of The Simpsons like that. Like, have Sylvain Chomet direct an entire episode of The Simpsons and do whatever he wants.
Probably a pipeline thing.
What if they did do a whole season that was like a space standy season of The Simpsons? You can do whatever you want. You can fuck our characters up and just trust in the integrity of whoever is the artists that are doing this, that are doing whatever they want with The Simpsons characters. You know?
Never trust anyone.
Dude, Simpsons.
No, I mean like Gennady Tarkovsky to do like, you can do anything you want with The Simpsons, anything you want.
That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Anyone like you get Masaki Yuasa to do an episode of The Simpsons. That's looking good. Look at that. I like that. All right, so we're gonna try to speed this up and get the last 2 panels in, and that'll be it for this very productive session. So we'll get the end point, and then we'll get a midpoint. So we'll go all the way to the last panel. We might need 2 more because I think there might be like a midpoint somewhere in here for when she's swinging the punch. That would probably be good to have. That's what my instinct says. Whoops. But I'm starting to get a nice feel for Storyboard Pro doing this. Yeah, I mean, like you do exercises like this also to learn the drawing software that you're using. So a few things that are noting about this: her hand in the foreground. You can use that like kind of cube that's on the back of her hand, like the I don't know what. It's part of her glove, but I think it's like a guard. I think it's like a hand guard on her glove, but you can use that cube as kind of an indicator of like her what her fist is doing and what direction it's traveling. I mean, that's basically what the animators use that for right there.
It means nothing if you can't draw hands.
Well, no, this is a guideline for the hand, because there's underneath that there is another cube. The borders of that cube are happening about right here, and you can use that as a guideline for it. Like, that's the front of the hand right there. That's the side plane of the hand right there. This is like, I think, the pinky. So you can draw like kind of a cube shape for the hand wedge, for the palm wedge. This is like coming way into frame like that. Good lord, the palm wedge takes up like the whole bottom and top half of the frame. It's pretty big in there. I think the pinky starts about here. This next finger up here. Just need an indicator of that stuff. You can kind of see the top plane of this a bit. So that's another indicator of the angle of the palm a bit. Maybe I should bend these a little bit to kind of get a better sense of momentum. And another thing I should maybe do is, I have an idea here, because it's really hard to tell what the heck I'm looking at here with this hand out of context. Like, if you showed someone this frame out of context, would you be able to tell what you're looking at here, if this even is a hand? It looks great in motion, but so what I'm thinking I'm going to do. Gonna make another layer.
It seems more like a smear frame, honestly.
No, it is basically, but they cut on this. They're cutting on this, punching towards the camera. The viewer is almost getting punched. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken in parts of the hand that are red. I'm going to go back to this previous frame here, and I think the glove is red, so I'll just do that. Maybe I can I blur that? It's not a bitmap layer. Can I convert to bitmap layer? I can convert to bitmap layer. And then I can apply effective bitmap layer, blur, 3, there we go. Boom. And now I'm going to add the midpoint between those two. We might need 2 more drawings. Like we might need one of these in here, in addition to our endpoint. So she goes from this to that. That's our main midpoint, and then we maybe have one more drawing of her fist after this, and then we're done. It's an excuse to draw a really vignetted head too. I do like the expression in her eyes here. But what's really cool about this, like having done this, like I could try solving a shot in this manner now that I've done this study. Like it's another idea or tool in my tool belt. I basically have a cheat sheet I've done for potential future things to play with in my own work. And to play with and bend to however I need it to suit the story of the project, so I can have my own rhythm and feel to it without ripping it off. That's the idea here. That's why I'm trying to keep it loose and gestural instead of just like slavishly copy, so that I can kind of get a feel and a vibe for the forces that are at play here, just selling the idea. And learn from it to internalize it. That's very nice. Too bad I didn't separate that in a separate layer so I could blur it. Oh well. But I can't add the red, but I'm gonna skip to the fist, the last fist that we're gonna need to draw. Let's see here. Let's do that. I might want to just complete this as an animation study with the rest of the frames, draw the rest of the frames in. This is partly an animation study that we're doing here. Alright, let's see here. That ripple across the knuckles there. Following the flow of the knuckles, getting that cube that's the guard on the back of her hand. Getting some of the forearm that's back there, it looks like. I think this needs to be scooted to the left a bit. Actually needs to be beefed up, kind of. So maybe get a nice solid outline around this. So that fist is extremely important in this shot. Figures that I make. Oof. Yeah. an indication of a hand that kind of feels okay to me. Then I'll add the red. Oops. I think we're done. Just about. Let's take a look at how these look, and I'd love to see what you got, the results you got from doing these exercises tonight. If you can even push the animated sequences of the panels you drew, that'd be cool. This has been a very, very productive practice, I would say, and I'm looking forward to doing more classes in this style. We can do these also for concept art as well, like understanding character model sheets and character designs and things like that. So it won't just be for like frame by frame things. We'd also like break down character designs and stuff. Alright, I'm gonna blur this. Bitmap. So it's not so harsh. There you go. Maybe bitmap and blur this. Darken this a bit, so now I kind of know what's happening and where it's going a little bit better. There we go. Now I need to add a bitmap. Well, I need to add some bread to this. Convert to bitmap layer. Blur. Alright, there we go. Should definitely darken it now. Just doing like a clarity pass right here to make this read a little better. This should be like generally kind of the darkest part right now because I made the fist so dark where it ends up. I think that's good. I want to go back through and add in like clearer outlines around the characters a bit. Oops. So they read a lot better when the board's in sequence. That's looking pretty good. Very nice. Dang, that study turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Practice is starting to pay off. Anyway. Yeah, let's take a good close-up look at this. But yeah, I want to take a look at some of the ones that people posted in chat, and I'll show them up on the stream in a second here. Yeah, this study turned out pretty good. And now, like, I could take this idea and use my own characters with it, or something, and do my own version of it. Now that I've done this study, I kind of have an understanding of what the key moments would need to look like a bit. I can repose them and adjust them as I need to. So, I'm gonna take a look at people's storyboards in Storyboard Corner chat. All right, let's have a peek. Bahoots is going pretty scribbly. I'm still like struggling with like kind of get Storyboard Pro, but as we do more of these, you kind of want to get simpler lines, or you want to shoot for simpler lines. They can still be kind of scribbly and work it out and stuff, but you want to keep them loose and not so chicken scratchy. It's harder to do that. It's easier to get chicken scratchy with vector lines for me for some reason. This one, the ground plane isn't really working as a ground plane per se. It doesn't feel like it has perspective to it. It's kind of like fattening up on the edges there. There's also problems with, like, I think you got confused with what the hand was doing at the end there. Like, I think you added some knuckle things here. The hand kind of looks like it's kind of petting towards the camera. What's actually happening there, which I indicated here, is there's some of her forearm behind here when the punch is swinging towards the camera here. It's like curving around her body, see? And following that flow of momentum. Up in here. I don't think this panel was as successful as the other ones, but like you can see, it's like it's all we see on the screen is just like two of her knuckles in the side plane of the hand right here. Like her pinky and her index finger. Like I think I would actually extend these forward a bit, but it works as a final flash image, kind of. Her knuckles do kind of change direction there. That kind of irritates me. Anyway, so we'll go back to some other ones that people have done. So we got a lot of stuff to go over. This one's it's pretty loose, but I would say try to pay more attention to using some shapes like the cubes for the hands and stuff. Like if you think of the hand as just like a palm cube moving through space, that can definitely help. And also you need to do eye lines. Like this person put eye lines on the character here. That's good. Do more of that and try to track it and think about it three-dimensionally. I think there's a little kind of an indication of an eye line here of like kind of indicating it a bit, but eye lines are definitely helpful for tracking this stuff. This one, it looks like it might be potentially, these thumbnails are reading pretty good for this, so this one might potentially be a very successful study. Yeah, this one's very simple and gestural. It's clear, you can understand it. This looks like plausibly like a storyboard right here. The only thing I would say is maybe darken up some areas around here to make the overall silhouettes of the characters read around the edges and stuff. That's looking pretty darn good. A lot cleaner than mine. That's cool. This person actually kind of did it like animation paper. This is a very remarkably successful exercise. He did kind of lose track of his little things there. That's why I wouldn't worry about the detail, but for your own practice and exercise, that's not necessarily a bad thing to do. So I'd say that's a successful study right there. It's just one panel. I can tell what's going on there. This would be like a thumbnail pass on that character. It's a pretty successful study overall. I would say maybe push some things, like add more kind of like a sense of a tilt to her pelvis and her shoulders, and more of a sense of line of action. Like this character needs to look more like they're falling away, even when the camera's zooming back. Like I don't think the sense that they're falling. There's not enough of a sense of them falling way back there. That's nice. It's going a little super fast, but this looks like a rough animation test, and those are very successful ground and sky planes. I'd say that this is a very successful test. This is a very successful exercise right here that somebody did with the red and blue figures there. Zolian. Yeah, this one's pretty crude, but I'd probably rule this as a somewhat successful test in terms of a starting point. I think you could probably go back in and kind of like make the expressions read more a bit, like kind of zoom in a bit and kind of get something simple. It doesn't have to be too complex. Just something that reads well. This is a good example of that, actually. I'd say this is a very successful test. It's simple. You can understand it. You can understand the emotion of the character pretty well. I would say that maybe the shield could be developed better, but honestly, like this is like you will see drawings kind of like this in normal storyboards. I would say that maybe use this as an opportunity, though, to kind of practice, like maybe making that shield more of a dimensional cube kind of shape or something, and maybe kind of keep that in mind a bit more for the rest of the body. But that expression reads well, and what she's doing reads well, so that's definitely successful. Look a little zippy here, but that's probably more to do with the frames we chose. I'd want to slow this down to maybe get a better look at it. I think it's missing some frames. Like, yeah, it's missing when he's supposed to be zipping over there. That's what's... No wait, there it is. It's pretty successful. There's a few other things that could be done. Like, I think there's some adjustments that could be made at the character here a bit to make their Naruto run read a little better at the end there. Background's working pretty well. A lot of people are doing a way better job than I did on some of these. Yeah, this one I'd want to put like more of a ground grid, but you did include these little kind of lines of path that the characters are taking. That definitely helps. So this isn't necessarily a bad study. I'd say just maybe include more of a ground and sky plane that you can use as a guideline for that. As for the characters, they're pretty crude, so it's a little hard to tell what's going on. But the overall feeling of what's going on here isn't bad. Like this is almost kind of like a rough, loose, quick pass on something before you maybe go back and you put some better poses on them or something. But it's the feel of it is good. It has good energy to it. I'd say that's a successful study. Let's see here. That's very nice. Yeah. The ground plane could probably be defined a little better. I like the posing, though. Posing's pretty... Yeah, I can tell what's going on. That's a good head angle right there. Yeah. This is good. Like the arrows. Yeah, successful study. Good job. This person's trying to do it traditionally. Let's take a look. Yeah. I think they're getting a little... Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, there you go. You got the ground plane and stuff, sky plane. Kind of struggling with drawing really small, I can tell. So you're kind of trying to fit in what's going on in there. So I think you're kind of working against what you were like. I think you're drawing on kind of cramped space and not used to this size. But I do see bits and pieces of stuff in here that is looking pretty nice. Like bits and pieces of how the limbs hook together and the overall feeling of some of the attempted silhouettes. This one's looking kind of wonky because of the portions of the legs and the hips. But that drawing is kind of hard. I'd almost want to like do an overlay drawing on it to kind of break it down. Because even when I tried to copy it, it was kind of tricky. But yeah, that one I would say good attempt, but I would try to do another pass where you're using materials that aren't really fighting you as much, and you'd probably get a better result out of it. But if you want to keep doing that and try to learn how to draw out that size a little bit more effectively, that might be worth it. Yeah, this is a pretty successful study, I'd say. Attempted a ground plane. The ground plane isn't quite going to a vanishing point. but it works. Yeah, indications and stuff. There's nitpicks I can make about like the figures and stuff, but overall, like this is an excellent, like you'd want to see this kind of stuff for your like your thumbnail pass. So that's good. That would be successful. Let's see here. Yeah. All right, you did a little simple character there. That's good. Yeah. I'd maybe include some cross lines for the floor grid so you can kind of tell what depth people are moving in. Maybe include a bit of a skybox a bit. This pose was so tricky, so I'm not gonna like come down on anyone for a pose that was a challenge for me. But I mean, this is successful. I like what you did here with like the really simple puppet stuff. I can tell what's going on. If this played in sequence, I guarantee you it would read. So yeah, successful. This one is another traditional one, working small using color coding. This is definitely a successful study. Again, there's that tricky ass pose that trips people up, but the other poses are reading really nice. These actually look really cool. So this is successful for sure. This one looks like somebody else who was also struggling with the materials and the size, but they included a ground plane and the paths through there. They kind of kept trying to read, but where they got really tripped up is this ground plane isn't really quite working for the shot, and it kept trying to redraw it, and it kept getting more and more warped and strange every time. But some of like this pose is nice. There's a little bit of that pose in there. I kind of like that one. There's some of the poses that are reading a little good. I would say take another crack at it and try to establish a better ground plane and stuff, and get clearer poses. Like this is kind of not really working. That's not really working. This one is okay because this one actually is handled a little better than I would expect. This one is kind of vague. Yeah, I'd definitely give that one another crack. But I think you did take some good things away from that. Yeah, I can tell what's going on. It's just at the very end here, like he's moving a little bit too close together here. I kind of ran into that too, because I wasn't shifting the camera. You did actually shift the camera though. I think some of the part. I could really nitpick this all day, but this overall works as a quick study. There's Winston. That's looking good. Expressions, loose and getting loose. This is looking really elaborate. I think the timing might be a little crazy though. Let's try to full screen it maybe. These are nice drawings. These are very, 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 very nice drawings. Good drawings. It's not the kind of drawings you want for storyboards, but that part of what we're doing this for is to also get some drawing practice. So this was, I'd say this is a successful exercise here. Let's see, maybe, and we were still getting warmed up when we were doing these, so. Yeah, I'd think it's pretty good. That expression's getting a little vague. That one's a little easy to read. The only thing I'd say on this is maybe go back through and like darken up certain things. Like, I think you got kind of fatigued towards the end. Like, this is reading really well. This is reading really nice. This is reading nice. Although with the glasses, you need to kind of include an indication of the glasses when he's pulling them off. That's looking good though. Maybe include more of the teeth kind of down here. Maybe more of the clenched fist. Now it's getting a little crude. So you want to put more in there. So you had a really strong start in the first half, but then it kind of loses it a bit. And what could have helped that is getting a little looser. But I think that's great. You did a really nice drawings in that that I really rather like. This is a successful study for sure. I can tell the emotion of the character that's in this. The only thing I can't tell is I think you need to put more of an indication of that he's pulling off the glasses. Like he could literally just like, you would have to put the glasses on his face, and then you'd like a really thick black outline for where his glasses are and when he pulls them off, and that makes it really obvious. Maybe want to go on a darkening pass to go back through and like add a dark outline around his silhouette, and around important areas of the face. For example, when he's like, you know. But I mean that's successful. Traditional, playing with materials. I like that. I like playing with materials. Trying to push the expressions. This is kind of looking goofy here. I kind of like that. So just playing loose, and that's good. The traditional thumbnail-y pass. It gets kind of lost in it because I think you're kind of not used to working at this size. But there's bits and pieces going on in here of what you should be doing. You're adding eyelines to things. You're kind of trying to simplify the shapes. But you're kind of lost in a few things here. But I can somewhat tell what's going on. You could almost go back through this again with like a another pencil or a thicker pen or something, and like tighten and like push the expressions a little bit more, make things read like you have the basic idea of things. You'd go back through and then just like make some more clarity on it. But yeah, this was one of the warm-ups, so I would say that's a successful warm-up. I can tell what's going on there, except at the very end where like a little bit kind of gets a little undrawn there. There's drawing problems going on in this, but in terms of being able to tell what's going on, it's definitely very successful. And it's unfair to compare that to like this person who did probably the best face drawings of Winston here, I'd say. Sunshiny. Yeah, I think Sunshiny did the best face drawings of Winston. A close second would be this one, which is really nice. Did some nice hand. That hand's getting a little weird. That hand's looking a little better though. Those hands are looking good. Yeah. And this person, I think, should win an award for the... Well, I think the expression could be pushed a little more, but there's a sense of clarity to it. Like, this would work like setting up a reaction shot that an animator would use to kind of riff from for their own performance, you know, just in terms of functionality for a storyboard. But you could probably push the expression a little more to like look of betrayal on the character's face within the context of oh, this is nice. Ooh, yeah, this person also is in like the top 3 of the best Winston drawings, I would say. This is a silhouette, clear silhouette. I can tell what direction. It's simple shapes. They didn't draw an eyeline, but they didn't need to because they used parts of the face basically as the eyeline to measure it, which is this is one of the things you're supposed to do when you get further along into the kind of stuff. They actually did use an eyeline in the center line here. But they did it rough and loose, and they kind of had a sense of building it out, but well, like not overdoing it. So there's a sense of dimensionality to them, even though it's like really simple. So this is really successful right here. This entire thing. I don't really have any input except maybe the background could maybe have more of a grid and sky plane. But everything else is just fine. Actually, you know what? There could be more of a clear indication of the glasses. Like, maybe if you darken in the glasses here, and show more of the hand pulling the glasses off the face here. But like the motion reads on this for sure. Not sure what this is. It's a funny drawing though. These are reading good. Simple, quick, sketchy. I can mostly tell what's going on. You could definitely do another pass on this, but this is a successful warm-up, I would say. Yeah, I can read the emotions. That's another successful one. I think the angle in the background is off though. But I can tell what's going on. I can tell he's reaching for his glasses too. And that's a pretty nice hand. That hand's not so nice though. This one's good. So you actually included like the construction stuff. If you'd done it on this one, you could have had the same kind of thing going on. I like that. Grrr, that's good. This one gets a bit mushy in its drawing, but I'd say this is still fairly successful. I'd say you could go back in and sharpen and tighten things up a bit where it's kind of getting a little wonky. Good for a thumbnail study for sure. There's 2 pages of this. I like that expression. There's more input I could give on this, but like most of them would be around like how limited you were by the side of the page you're drawing on. I'd say overall this is still a fairly successful study. There's parts where I think the dimensionality of the head kind of gets lost. Like it's like this is a flat shape. I need to kind of feel more like the side plane is there, kind of, I think. And the reason I say that is because I can look at this. I can look at like later panels like this where it kind of loses it some more. So I know that that's what's happening. But I mean, it's a good study and successful, I'd say. And good form up. So Winston's looking a little wall-eyed here, so I maybe want to make his go back and make his eyes read a little better. As a thumbnail study, it's working okay. I think you gotta look. I think the background got really confused. Like there's not a sense of the lines going to a vanishing point on that background back there, and the skybox gets really confused too. Winston is also not as much of a sense of a mass to him, and it gets kind of a little bit mushy. But you did do like you use like a square box to kind of guide his face a bit, which helped on some of the panels. His shoulders are not shifting around as much as they should. You want to go back through and see what his body is really doing, and also you're also getting. I think you're getting caught up way too much in the details of his. Like some of the other people did like really elaborate drawings of him. That's not necessary for this. You can just really simple shapes for these exercises, and then you can concentrate on what's important, which is the action and the motion. It's interesting little. I don't know if that's visible on stream, but there's like a kind of a really vector drawing-ish looking thing here that looks kind of neat. I want to be interested in see where that's going. If there's any more to that, here's that template that was posted earlier. That's a nice drawing of Winston. The eye's getting a little small there. Actually, you know what? It's getting a little flat. The nose is getting a little flat. And there's more drawing problems than I bargained for here. But I can read his emotion. Yeah, good shit. A lot of good shit. Let's take a look at this. Grrr. Yes, what he's doing there is ambiguous. These are good these are pretty alright thumbnails, but you want to run into that problem again with the where it's hard to tell what he's doing with the glasses. Mind you, I made tons of mistakes too, and like a lot of people here did a way better job than I did, so yeah. I'm getting a little exhausted, otherwise I'd give more in-depth critique. This is working. It's I'd maybe look to the other ones that were a little bit more successful too for comparison. Like overall, I think the most successful Winston, I would say, is this one right here. Just overall. The only issue is like that skybox, and maybe a little bit more of an indication of the glasses being pulled off. Oh, did I see this one yet? No, I didn't. I don't think I did. This one is also a contender for successful. The background needs a little more working out. There's a better skybox here, though. Looks like it might be a pretty nice drawing at the start. Let's take a bigger. Whoa! Let's take a bigger look at this. It's a nice drawing. These are simple shapes. Yeah, I can kind of tell what's going on there now that it's zoomed in. There might be some ways to make that clearer, like darkening the glasses, and we see the frames being pulled off and stuff. There's like a dark black shape. Grr. 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 Yeah, I mean, this is successful. I'm curious, actually. I'd like to maybe see what this would look like if you did like a black silhouette for Winston's head and his arms or something, or whatever part of him is red. Like, remember when he turns red when he goes anger mode? Like, you could have the pivotal anger moment when he turns red occur in this. That'd be cool to see. I'd like to see how that would read. Bring up Storyboard Pro again. Let's see, do we have any more? These are surprisingly fun critiques to do. I'm learning something out of doing these too. I'm getting really exhausted though, otherwise I keep it up. That looks nice. This is really crude, but this is a good ass study right here. I could offer more feedback and nitpicks, like that could be drawn up. I mean, this works. This is a storyboard right there, or storyboard thumbnails. That would work as a plausible storyboard. It's a good. It's not as dynamic, but I mean, like, see some of your own personal styles coming in here, so it's like a little cartoony. I don't think that the curve of her swinging up there to punch is quite working on the last thing. The I need to see the individual drawings from this to really critique it more. In terms of being an animatic, like, that action isn't quite working for me, but the individual panels in the storyboard might work better. I think the initial swing is working good. Like, from what I can see of the hand going by, it reads pretty well. This is looking good, except the biggest point of contention I have is, like, right there. Like, he's not moving. He's not taking as wide enough step, swinging his body around. Like, he kind of like stalls out for a moment there when he when he steps forward. So I think for that you just scoot that more in you scoot his that one pose that's kind of stalling out there more in the direction of where he's running. There's probably a couple other tweaks that could be made to that. This one, I would... Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, eyeline. I think you need more confidence in what you're doing, and also, like, this is kind of... I think this is pretty off. It's like a milkmaid. Looks like she's punching. Looks like she's punching a pilgrim lady. Kinda. You might want to try to get something that looks more on model to the character, and just use the dimensionality of the shape, of the basic shapes to get there. I think you need more. I think you need more of a sense of force and line of action to this. The line of action is working a little better here, and then you could use that to kind of add, like, the tilt of the shoulders and the hips, and make a cube for the hips and the side plane of the leg. You need a clearer line. I think you need a clearer line of action there. Let's see. Yeah, the lips are kind of looking a little mushy. The nose isn't really dimensional. These are all drawing problems. These are all drawing problems. Overall, like in terms of getting the action across, I'd say that succeeded. So this is one part remember, this is one part drawing practice, one part storyboard practice. And then this is, I mean, like doing this is like how you find out what your drawing problems are, so you can work on practicing them and stuff. So you want to do more stuff like this too, for sure. It can definitely help. But yeah, look to the people who are more successful drawers. Like I'd look to this person. This is really crude, but you can tell you can like kind of read the eye direction in the ground plane. Like if you took these and tighten these up into like layout drawings or something, it would work. Let's see, what are some of the other successful ones with the tank girl? Possibly some of the early ones, not the ending punch, but the earlier ones in this maybe. It's just that. Not that one. Yeah, of the tank ones, I'd say that the most successful one was definitely this. Oh, that eye is looking a little stanky on the eye line there, though. But that's looking good. And these are really, I mean, but these are supposed to be crude. Like this looks like something where like you permit yourself to be to a certain level of crudeness, knowing that you could, knowing that what the purpose of these are for. This looks plausibly like a thumbnail pass at a storyboard. Let me take a look at mine again real quick. See if there's anything I have to say about what I could have done better in mine. Well, I could definitely darken the outlines. The characters here, I do a lot of have a lot of line uncertainty, partly because I'm trying to learn the program. But I have that problem in general too. I could probably make a clear indication of the camera move there. The direction of the knuckles seems to change a little bit. I might want to refer back to the reference to see what happened to the knuckles. They're a little better. I think the part that I succeeded the most at in this was just the sense of the curve of the punch coming in. It just kind of loses it a bit when the knuckles seem to change direction here. I think I did an okay job overall with just like the general dimensionality of the face. That nose is a little flat on the face though. I could definitely work out this panel more, I would say. I did it first before I kind of got in the flow for the rest of the thing. So I could definitely work out this panel more. But it works. Let's take a look at some of the other ones I did to see what I could have done better. The biggest issue with this is, to me, is the camera move, I think. So I could probably define the expressions better too, but the general idea of the action is there. This would work as a storyboard. I think the Winston I did is in Clip Studio Paint, so I'd have to open that up. The biggest problem I ran into on this was I should have done the camera move so that I could give myself more space to work with the sequence. I think that my ground plane and my sky plane could be better defined. I'd want to actually look at the people that did a more successful job than me at this. But this works. I mean, I can read the action. It's just not. There's those like stodgy areas where it kind of fucks up. It works plausibly. It almost looks like a first pass at animation too. Kind of zoomed out so I could kind of read the action there. Anyway. Cool. Alright, yeah, thank you all for coming. Thanks for the awesome work. And we'll be shutting down the stream shortly, and you will be all free to go. Thank you all for coming. Thanks to the one person who gave me a Twitch Prime sub this stream. If you have any Twitch Prime subs, or if you just want to give me a regular sub, it's much appreciated. We're doing these classes through Ethan Becker's Discord for free, and you're welcome to join and participate however you want. Do the exercises, follow along, and whatnot. But yeah, come and hang out in the Discord. We'll come out and do stuff. Honestly, it's for open mic right now. Like, anyone can talk. So if anyone has any questions and stuff, you can speak up now. Only got 25 viewers left. I should definitely cut the stream short pretty soon. But yeah. That's a cool.
Good day of work.
Yes, very good. So, I guess
I just need to learn line confidence. That's all I need to do.
You gotta keep drawing, and you gotta keep, like, forcing yourself to draw long strokes. Draw long strokes that help. That's also why, like, I switched away from the vector line, because I'm not really confident drawing with vector lines, like on this the League of Legends study. I have a better feel for drawing in bitmap, like on the third exercise. Or the fourth exercise, actually. So I was able to kind of get like a feel for it a little bit better, because it feels more like drawing with an animator pencil a little bit. Yeah, you can feel it. If you zoom through it really fast, you can feel it. Bam. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, I guess let's shut down the stream now. So thanks again for coming. The streams will be available when I upload them to YouTube. I'll do I'll link them in the Discord later. So yeah. Sayonara. Oh, I almost forgot. Arrivederci. I almost forgot the most important part.
Congratulations! 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 Thank you all.